It's Monday morning. Monday morning motivation sunimtao. So thought I would try to grab you quick before you got on with your training to talk about this thing that Ip Man was supposedly said that people often misunderstand. That he said you can't teach Wing Chun to stupid people.
Stupid people can't learn Wing Chun.
Yeah. And so that might just sound insulting to some people, but actually behind it is this bigger idea about whose responsibility, where the responsibility lays for teaching and what responsibility is on the student. So I thought maybe you could talk about what that means and how you teach here and why you think that's a good method.
So the saying, right, stupid people can't learn Wing Chun, it's probably not exactly how he said it, but...
Because he was a very nice man. It's hard to imagine.
He was a very nice man. It'd be hard to imagine him being that cruel. But what he's getting at is that Wing Chun is a conceptual martial art. It's based on principle and theory, and you have to understand those theories. You have to think in the Wing Chun way.
Right.
But
also there's this issue of like the 50-50 thing. So talk about that.
50% of your Kung Fu comes from your Sifu, and 50% comes from your own hard work. So if you're not willing to put in that 50% and absorb the art, you can't learn it.
Right. You
can't learn it that way because it's not... In Wing Chun, the way it's taught, you're not spoon-fed everything every step of the way. Right. It's like...
And that's a very different model. Like here in the United States, much of our educational system is about like a fixed mindset. Like there's a right answer and there's only one way.
Right.
And so everyone is spoon-fed the information because all they want you to do at the end with the test is to spit it back out.
Right.
But Wing Chun is a little different. And so I wonder if you could talk about why this way of teaching, why you do it this way, is, you think, a more effective method.
I think it's more effective because it forces the student to think and to find their own Kung Fu.
Right.
Right? So I always tell students, I can teach you Wing Chun, but you have to find your own Kung Fu.
Right.
Right? You have to learn how to work hard. You have to learn how to find it within you to make Wing Chun yours and find that drive within you. I can't give that to them. They have to find that within themselves,
Yeah, and like fair play to them, right? It's like if this is not a way of learning, if someone's comfortable with, that's fine. Like there's other teachers, there's other ways, and if they've been around a long time, they're all good,
So it's not like, when you come into the class, when I've ever gone to Hong Kong or, it's like you come into the class and it seems like there's no order to the class. And that's because once you're taught something, you're expected to go out on the floor and work it and come up with questions to deepen your understanding and to understand the principles of the system. Because it's not technique versus technique. Not in Wing Chun anyways. Among many other martial arts it's like that. But in Wing Chun it's you have to absorb the principle and the theory. And you have to, like I keep going back to this, you have to think in the Wing Chun way in order to make it your own. And each person has to take what they get from their Sifu and then run with it and make it their own and try to absorb it into their mind and body. And that's how Wing Chun has been passed on from all the way back to Leung Jan.
Right.
It's been passed on this same exact fashion. So the way I see it, why fix something that isn't broken? It seems to work very well. It's worked for generations.
Yeah, and it could be also that, for Western students, in different places and here in Chicago, that some of it is learning to become comfortable with a little, like that kind of don't know space, it's realizing that you can feel uncomfortable and that's okay.
It's okay.
And it's your job to work through it, and that applies directly to how people live their life, because this gives you a pretty safe environment to be uncomfortable in, overcome that, and then bring that grit to your job, your love life, whatever.
Right. It teaches you that stick-to-itiveness.
Yeah.
So that you keep going after something and working on it, and then you go back to your Sifu with questions. and then he can guide you on the path to help you find your own kung fu.
Right.
But it's not just like copy me or copy your Sifu and then you're going to get it. It's not
Right.
like that. You have to find it. You have to work with it and take what your Sifu gives you and work with it. It's a very different model than the way we learn over here in the United States.
So just to kind of wrap it up then, the kind of like main takeaway things we want people to be thinking about is that 50% of your Kung Fu comes from your teacher and 50% comes from your own hard work.
Right.
Being a little uncomfortable is okay.
Yep.
It's directly applicable to the rest of your life.
Yep. Yeah, and when you have questions, you ask, right? It's not like you can't ask questions, right? In working in your own 50%, right?
So
you're gonna have questions.
Yeah,
And
you have to go
must
to
ask.
Yes, you must ask. That applies to so many things. But yeah, so that's like the third point. Then it's this idea of that Carol Zwick has been doing research on in California, I believe, about the different kind of mindset, that letting go of this idea that you have a fixed capacity in your mind and realizing that actually you're able to grow in your mind and learn new things and adapt to difficulty and overcome.
Yeah, but
not easy to do.
You
but
can't give up.
That's why it's called Kung Fu.
If you want to have that's why it's called Kung Fu. It's hard work. If you want to have it, it's accessible to everyone. Wing Chun is for everyone.
And so where are we located here? Tell us, for people in Chicago who might be looking for martial art.
1839 South Halstead in the Pilsen neighborhood.
Okay, and if somebody wants to come visit the school, can they come and visit?
Yes.
Yeah, everyone gets a free class.
Visit, get a free class, and
see what our community is like.
Talk, ask questions about things.
All right, have a great Monday, everybody.
Okay.
Sifu Matt's going back to his training.
Back to training.